We all have been stuck in a bad meeting and we are tired, frustrated and exhausted. But don't worry, today we are talking about meeting etiquettes. What makes a meeting effective? Without further ado, let's get started. My name is Shami, welcome to my channel and I make content on personal development and lifestyle. Tip number 1, preparation. Don't overlook preparation. Preparation is very important because we are doing a meeting with a couple of other people. We have to respect everybody's time, energy and effort. That's why we need to prepare for the meeting in order to make it super effective. Tip number 2, set the agenda. Agenda is equally important as preparation. If you don't know what you are preparing for, you will not be able to do anything. So set an agenda that what is the meeting about. Are we talking about financial goal? Are we talking about marketing goal? Are we talking about overall goal? Are we talking about specific project or HR or whatever? So based on the agenda, you will have to call the people who's related to this department or for the meeting. So set an agenda. Tip number 3, set an objective. Agenda is one thing. If you don't know what you're talking about, then there is no point of talking. But then if you are not having a clear objective, then you will not go anywhere practically. Why? For instance, you are talking about a year plan today, but you don't know where you want to go and you don't have a clear objective about the agenda. Now, you know you're talking about a year plan, but you don't know where to start and you don't know where to go. So meanwhile, if you don't have your goals, you can't set the targets. So set a clear objective where you want to go for this meeting. Based on this meeting, what you want to achieve. So you need to set that first. That is super important. Tip number 4, set a time and a place for the meeting. If it's a physical meeting, people need to know about the time and the place because we live in a century where we are very busy and we have always something to do. So people need to know about the timing and the place so they can plan their commute or they plan accordingly. If it's a virtual meeting, they also need to know what kind of platform the meeting will be held on, because they need to know what kind of application they will have to download. For instance, the meeting will be on WebEx and not a lot of people has a WebEx application in their computer or their phone. So they need to know in advance. So plan in advance. Tip number 5, set calendar invites with reminders. People are super busy in this century and they don't have time. They are forgetting everything because we are bombarded with social media, all the live updates and very busy schedule in short. And you need to set reminders for that. You can set multiple reminders in the email or the applications that you're using for the meeting. You can send Google invites, you can send Zoom invites, whatever suits your criteria best. Tip number 6, start on time, end on time. Time is money, time is important. People are frustrated that they have to wait for hours for other people to come. And if somebody is not showing up on time in the meeting, probably they are not respectful for the meeting. So start on time without their presence and they will know at some point that they should be present in the meeting on time. And there can be emergency, there can be a traffic jam, there can be some other issues, but you need to plan everything in order to go to the meeting so you can respect other people's time and effort equally. Tip number 7, choose attendees and participants of the meeting. What is the meeting is all about? Is it a HR meeting? Is it a finance meeting? Is it a marketing meeting? Or is it an overall meeting? And you need to choose your participants and attendees accordingly. If it's an HR meeting, invite all the people related to HR or the people they need to have an input in this meeting. At the same time, you also need to invite some people from the management because HR is not the only department. Management also takes some crucial inputs or factors in that decision making. So invite accordingly and really know that who are the people should be invited. If somebody cannot make it, they can assign somebody who can take decisions on their behalf. Or if you see the important people are missing the meeting, then cancel the meeting or postpone the meeting for some other better time that suits everybody's time and convenience. Tip number 8, follow up with prospective attendees. We say people are always busy these days and that's true. So you need to follow up with prospective attendees because some people may be busy, some people may be having some other important meetings coming up and they probably have to reschedule. They might be forgetful about it, but when you are the organizer of the meeting, you should be knowing that who are the key important people and you should follow up with the attendance, whether their participation is confirmed or not. Tip number 9 is send reminders. Sending reminders is important because people are forgetful these days. We are bombarded with so many activities and it's difficult to keep track. So it's nice to send invites with reminders, and these days you can schedule your reminders. You don't have to do manually. When you're scheduling a meeting in the calendar, you can set like 3-4 reminders. When I schedule a meeting, I remind like 3 days before, 1 day before, 6 hours before, so they don't forget, or even if something emergency come up, they can manage or reschedule this meeting or the other one for everybody's convenience. Tip number 10. Start with a brief introduction. Maybe people are coming from different background and they are not familiar with one another. So here everybody can talk about their name and their designation and their role in the meeting. So everybody can get to know each other in case they don't know each other in person or as of now, or if they know already then it's fine, but at least you can start with hi and hello. It's nice always to exchange these greetings. Tip number 11, define the purpose of the meeting. We are here for a meeting and everybody knows each other by now, and then we should start with a brief introduction of the meeting agenda and the purpose, why we're here today, what we want to achieve at the end of the day, and what we were expecting from everybody. So everybody can think their part and give inputs to the meeting so we can have a proper outcome. Tip number 12, end with an action plan. When you are ending a meeting, you should have an action plan because you have discussed a lot of things at the same time. Everybody gave their inputs and you have to start an action plan, because if you don't have an action plan, there is no point having the meeting at the beginning. So if you're having a meeting, have an action plan when you're ending the meeting. Tip number 13 is use icebreakers. Sometimes there are some participants, they might be shy, and if you are having a joke or having an informal conversation, sometimes it helps them to become comfortable and participate in the meeting. Tip number 14, no role, no entry. If somebody doesn't have a role in the meeting, they should not enter into the meeting. Everybody should have a role in the meeting. They may take a meeting minutes, they may have a designated department for the meeting. They have to have something, some kind of role in the meeting, otherwise they should not be in the meeting. Why somebody will sit in the meeting and wasting a lot of time? There is no need. So give somebody a role. If you can't give a role, then they should not have an entry. Tip number 15, establish ground rules. Ground rules is super important. In our organization, we have certain ground rule for everything. We don't talk about religion, we don't talk about politics, and we don't talk about people. Gossip is something that is absolutely restricted in our organization. No gossip, you can't talk about anybody. If you have to talk about somebody, speak in front of them. This is better. Then you are basically not really confronting, but you also have to speak in a polite way, so they don't think that it's a confronting situation. We can discuss up to certain things, and we do discuss a lot of things. There are a lot of problems and we minimize it. If something happened with somebody and they complain to the management, we call for a meeting with 2 parties, so we can solve the problem in order to have a peace in our organization. So no religion, no politics. So you can have also similar ground rules in the meeting. For instance, in our meetings, we have a strict ground rules that you cannot talk about outside of agenda. There are a lot of issues that needs our attention, but that doesn't necessarily mean we will talk about everything in one meeting. So we cannot go outside of agenda. We have to have a clear perspective and focus on the agenda. So yeah, you may have your ground rules based on your needs and suits your office rules or professional rules. Tip number 16, control the meeting or the conversation. When you are an organizer, your job is basically to control the meeting, not the conversation. Let everybody speak because they are here for a reason. They are here for their own, based on their own capacity, and they are here to talk. Otherwise, they will not have a role in the meeting. If somebody is taking a meeting minutes only, that person probably doesn't have a role here, speaking role here. But everybody should have a role here and everybody should speak. And being a boss, don't speak in the beginning because then you are killing the show. You are stopping the show. You said something, I like red, between red and blue, and then everybody will say, I think also red is great. Red is a great color, red is a vibrant color, but maybe they were thinking blue, and probably blue is suiting your organization more than red. So don't say anything in the beginning, ask everybody their opinion, and then you think about it, and then you give your opinion. You may not agree with them, but that's okay. Let them feel appreciated, let them speak first. So they speak and they feel appreciated, they feel a part of the meeting, and then you talk about it. Decision will be one color, obviously, and or not obviously everybody will say the same color. Everybody will have different opinion, and this is normal. We all are different people, we are different human beings, we have different background, we have different choices, and we will not have a similar decision. So it's okay to have a different decision, but let them speak. Tip number 17, focus. There might be various agenda in one meeting, but after one agenda is finished, you summarize the agenda and then you focus on the next agenda. Don't go outside of the agendas, because there will be a lot of problems in the organization or in the workplace, but that doesn't necessarily mean we will talk about everything in front of everybody. Sometimes there is an HR problem and we should not talk about all this in front of finance team or marketing team. They might be demotivated. So when we are talking about something, we will be talking about that particular department in front of that department to solve it amicably. Tip number 18, select the tools and the equipment you want to use. You may need a projector, you may need a microphone, you may need a pointer, you may need a laptop, you may need a printer. Think about it in advance and plan accordingly. Tip number 19, decide a decision-making process. What will be your decision-making process? Is it a voting process, or it will be a autocracy? Like, I will hear everybody and then I will decide what decision I will take or we will take it as a team. So decide your decision-making process. It is important for the team members to feel a part of the meeting, a part of the decision-making process. In an organization, normally we hear from everybody and we do voting. If we see majority people are saying this, and then we decide on that, because we want everybody to take a stake in the organization and not think that it is only my organization or our organization or the upper management organization. It depends on every single person. Everybody has a stake in that organization. So this feeling is super important. This is what we do. You can decide on your own, whatever fits your organization and your personal life. Tip number 20, planning ahead. Decide about our next meeting on this current meeting. This ensures a lot of participants from the current meeting. At the same time, this gives some encouragement to think about the meeting and participate accordingly. Tip number 21, follow up. We have done a meeting, and then what? We don't follow up, and then we go nowhere. So follow up is super important. Follow up properly, and when you follow up, you can actually use the meeting efficiently and effectively. That makes a meeting efficient and effective, not just the meeting itself. Follow up has a huge role to do. And now, what you have to follow? So we have made a list. Share meeting minutes. Meeting minutes is important. You should share meeting minutes with every single person, because we are busy, we may forget, we may be forgetful. So once the meeting minutes in their inbox, they can go easily to their inbox anytime at their convenience and take a look about the meeting and think. And then check on the progress of each action item. We have done an action point and we have decided something to do. And then what? It needs a follow-up. So we follow up on that action point, what is going on, whether it has some problem, it needs some effort, it needs some support. Follow up accordingly. And when you follow up, you will know the challenges, you will know the perspective, you will know what is happening, and you'll be able to really help. And the other point is schedule individual meetings. Sometimes we do a big meeting and then the smaller meetings also needed. For instance, we did a whole year meeting, and then all the departments were present in there. But then each department also needs their own departmental meeting to reach that height that we really want to reach. So you can decide based on that. And then schedule another meeting. Scheduling meeting is important when you have regular meetings, and this way you can follow up, check into checklist, and work on the challenges. This will help you to reach the goal that you want to reach. That's all we have for you today. Thank you so much for watching our video. We will see you soon.